Join us on a fascinating journey to explore the story of Queen Kubaba, the remarkable woman who ruled and led armies, achieving victory and becoming the first woman in history to accomplish such a feat. Initially, Kubaba was the owner of a small tavern, but she carried great ambitions within her. Through her strength and bravery, she transformed from a tavern owner to a great queen. She led her people with wisdom and justice, building a powerful empire and ensuring its prosperity. But the adventure didn't end there. After her passing, Kubaba became a legend and a beloved deity among the people. Her thrilling story speaks of the power of women and their ability to achieve the impossible. Let us embark together on this exciting journey to explore the life and accomplishments of Queen Kubaba. We will uncover her inspiring story and discover how she achieved power, influence, and transformed herself from a humble woman into a cultural and religious symbol.
The owner of the bar that took control of the throne of Iraq. Queen Kubaba, who is said to have ruled for 100 years. Sumerian Queen Kubaba. Between myth and truth and the worlds of reality and fiction, we have always been attracted by the stories of kings, queens, and great rulers throughout history, which, although their basis is real, may sometimes be without exaggerations and events that may be difficult to believe. Among these stories, the story of Queen Kubaba, who ruled one of the oldest and most ancient civilizations on Earth, the Sumerian civilization in 2500 BC, then immortalized by the people and proclaimed her as a goddess, and was the only queen on the list of Sumer's male kings. Come with us to tell you her story, and it has a sculpture in the Ankara Museum in which Kubaba appears. A woman worked in a bar and made offerings to the gods. It can be hard to imagine that 4,500 years ago, a woman ruled the largest and oldest civilization in ancient Mesopotamia. But even more surprisingly, Kubaba, or Kojbao in Sumerian, was not a royal dynasty, did not ascend the throne for her hereditary right to rule, but in fact worked in a pub serving beer or some kind of ancient drink. But the question arises, how can a woman working in a bar become a queen? The answer here varies according to sources and accounts, especially since there is very little information about how Kubaba came to the throne, but one thing is agreed, which is that owning a tavern was a common and respected female profession in some ancient historical periods in Mesopotamia. The barley from which beer is made was sacred to the Sumerian people, and beer was considered according to Sumerian texts as a joy of the heart and satisfaction of the liver. Given that the people of Sumer cherish beer as a gift from the gods, it may be more accurate to consider her a successful businesswoman with divine connections. But how she came to power is legendary and unclear. It is likely that Kubaba was the owner of the tavern, and not just a maid there, and that she made the offerings that the hunters failed to make. Based on a record found indicating her status, there is a quote from an ancient Babylonian text that says, "Kubaba gave bread to the fisherman and gave him water, and made him offer fish in the temple of Isagila to the god Marduk, and her work impressed the god and entrusted Kubaba, the keeper of the tavern, with sovereignty over the whole world." Another explanation that assumes that she married a king, but the evidence denies it. Another explanation assumes that in Mesopotamian society, it was not common for women to exert any political influence except through their relations with the king. Sumerian queens have always been the wives of kings. They did not rule on their own. But the other question that may come to our mind here, can a king marry a woman who works in a bar? The answer is that the king is unlikely to marry ordinary commoners, but it is certainly a possibility. It is possible that Kubaba was married to a king who died and then ruled alone, but there is no mention of such a thing happening in ancient texts.
The first woman to lead an army and win, but did Sumer really rule for 100 years? The Sumerians considered rule to be a divine law and believed that kings could be gods, so it is difficult to pinpoint the exact date of their rule. Kubaba ruled for 30 years with skill, intelligence, and competence without the participation of her husband or son, but according to legend she ruled for 100 years, during which she founded the third, or fourth, Kish dynasty, known as the Kuti dynasty, in Sumer. Sources indicate that during her reign, Kubaba defeated Mari as king in Syria, Chromater, and was the first woman in human history to lead and win a war. She was a powerful and hugely popular queen throughout her reign in the ancient Iraqi civilization. She was married to the Kuti king Haplam, and after her death her son Puza and grandson Yorzababa ruled. Mother Nymph Goddess. After her death, Kubaba was known as the Nymph Goddess Mother, who worshipped at the tombs of Sumer. The goddess Kubaba also became the protector of the Sumerian city of Karchamish, and a carved stone plaque now preserved in the Museum of Anatolian Civilizations in Ankara depicts the goddess Kubaba wearing a headscarf. And here we come to the thrilling conclusion of our journey into the world of Queen Kubaba, the owner of the legendary bar. Her story captivates hearts and inspires minds, as she proved to the world that strength and power are not exclusive to men, but that women are capable of achieving greatness and sovereignty. We have learned from Kubaba's tale the importance of perseverance and determination in facing challenges and achieving success. She has left us with a valuable legacy that reflects her bravery and strength, which will continue to be a source of inspiration for future generations. Let us always remember the great spirit of Kubaba and strive to pursue our dreams and goals with strength and determination. Let us embrace courage and take control of our destinies, just as the great Queen of the Bar did. In the end, we know that Kubaba may be a fictional character, but her impact and the legacy she left behind will endure. So, let us draw inspiration from her spirit and strive to achieve success and positive influence in our lives and our society. Now, let us embark on our own personal journey towards greatness, inspired by the power and determination of Queen Kubaba. Let us make our life stories become true legends that inspire the world. Thank you all for watching and joining us on this exciting adventure. See you in new heroic quests.